start stream and then tell me when you hit go live so you can start reading.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Charlie. Happy birthday to you. And many more eternal heavenly birthdays. Today's Charlie's birthday, Charlie Cook's birthday, so I thought I would sing him happy birthday. Here's to you. So, this is Thirst Trap News. I'm Luna Lopez. You need to trust everything I say because I'm hot. Anyway, we have for you today live reacting to Kamala on NBC being a dumb bitch. Red pilling a gay Spanish dude. Don't tell me happy Pride Month. Liberals have good hearts. Psych. Get her half naked. Sleeper cells be scheming. Jews in Bryant Park. 2 + 2 = racist. Chef lying bitch. Chief lying bitch. I need to go back to language arts classes, folks. AI catfished my daughter. Your spirit at conception. And how I used to argue. Before we get to that last one, it's such perfect timing for me to address my viral tweet that went viral this afternoon on one of the White House pages. You know, I was watching the little clip of Erica Kirk talking about Charlie accepting his Freedom Award. And I made a comment. I said, something feels strange. This is strange. She's acting strange. Oh my God, folks. Did I unleash a Leviathan? Let me tell you all the messages that I got. I hope some of you are still looking at my comments and going to my page, because a lot of you, Karen, saw my comment and then ran to my page to figure out, what's this girl all about? What's Luna Lopez all about? But I had to go through a slew of messages, other than the ones who agreed with me, about how judgmental I am, how evil and nasty I am, and that you hope that I never have to go through something like that. And how should I judge someone's grief and get out of here, and that I should take a rest on the Botox and the filler, all in the same sentence, while telling me I shouldn't be judging someone and how evil I am, while assuming that I have Botox, which I don't, and filler, which is gone because I got it like 7 years ago. So you guys just judged my, ethnic beauty, called me a narcissist. But I felt kind of pity for all of you commenting with your vile hatred, while somehow simultaneously thinking you're correcting my hatred. And I felt pity for these messages saying that, how could you, a psychologist, be judging someone's grief? Oh, I'm scared to know that my therapist could be judging me like this. 2 things I have to say about that. One, you don't know what the definition of judgment means. I'll read it to you. It says judgment. Number 1, the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. So, my comment, knowing how much I love Charlie Kirk and don't believe a word the FBI is telling us, I don't believe Tyler Robinson killed that man. But me saying that I think she's acting strange would be me measuring a collection of videos I've seen her do since Charlie died, coming to a conclusion, my statement saying, oh, she's acting strange, obviously implies I need a reconciliation from observable behavior against empirical evidence, right? And then the second definition of judgment is a misfortune or calamity viewed as a divine punishment. For example, the crash had been a judgment on the parents for their wickedness. So me saying that Erica is behaving strangely is not me judging her, because I am not sitting here saying she deserves what happened to her. That would be me judging her. You sad, sad Karens. You sad, sad Karens. I don't just blindly believe everything I see, especially on TV. The circus of Hollywood that has etched its fingers and left fingerprints all over the media. I'm going to question everything that I see, especially when I see the evidence that they give us doesn't match up to anything remotely close to something that would happen in reality, especially when you see the trajectory of the bullet, especially, mind you, the person that wanted to say, when I said, yes, I have been through something similar to this, and you come back with, oh, I didn't know your husband was brutally murdered on TV. Oh, excuse me, I didn't know you were actually stupid enough to be arguing with me from that standpoint, because the 1 in a fucking billion chance that my husband would be brutally murdered in public, I couldn't possibly be thinking that that's what you meant. So of course not, I haven't been through that microscopic thing. But I have held my son in my arms while he died. That's pretty brutal. And what I can tell you is, I've never seen a widower, or survivors of someone who died able to ever give a eulogy. See, when have you ever seen the survivors of someone who's passed away give a eulogy? There's a reason why that's a tradition and isn't, to have someone else close to the person to do it. Why it's not a tradition that the people close to them do it, because of the immense amount of grief you're under. Especially something so brutal. It just doesn't, all I'm saying is that it's strange how quickly she was able to get out in public and continue business as usual when it came to the empire of Turning Point USA. So, no, all of you crazy Karens can miss me with your bullshit because half of you are projecting. One of you even said, have you seen her cry? Do you know what her crying face? I didn't say anything about her crying being fake. But since you brought it up and projected your own thoughts onto me, I will say this. Whenever she does seemingly behave emotional, she averts her eyes away. Human behavior has only a handful of predictable behaviors. Okay, human behavior, human nature it's pretty predictable. So she averts her eyes and then she whispers when she's supposed to be being emotional. The lack of eye contact, and then saying, Charlie, I miss you. Yes, we loved you so much. It was your work. It was your mission, your life's mission, your life's mission. It's strange. And for you crazy freaking people saying that, using the Bible on me, saying the Bible says I shouldn't judge her. Number one, again, let's go back to the definition of judgment. Not judging her. I would be having to say something along the lines of she deserved this or she didn't deserve this. I said it's strange the way she's acting. Acting refers to observable behaviors, not what she's thinking, not what she's saying. And also, if you have a therapist saying to you, your behavior is strange, well, that's a great therapist, because what your therapist is telling you is your behavior is not matching up to what you say your principles are. And that's what therapists are there for, to help you gain perspective, not to placate you and make sure everything you feel and everything you behave like is swaddled and coddled. And in fact, if your therapist is swaddling and coddling you, get a new fucking therapist, because all you want at that point is just for someone to catch your tears and tell you you're right about everything you think and feel, and that's not what therapy is for. So I hope some of you are coming to my page, some of you showing up on this live. I hope you've been brought over here because of that comment about Erica Kirk. Yes, I think her behavior is strange. It doesn't mean I can't love Charlie in the same breath. In fact, the fact that she was a Miss America winner, Trump's organization, and many other things that lead up to this moment where she can so gracefully step right on stage and continue business as usual at TPUSA, get on podcasts, walk in front of the second lady on her trip home from Utah, walk in front of the second lady, holding the second lady's hand in the lead position, as if to drag the second lady out of the plane because the second lady's grieving more. Also, the whispering and the averting the eyes, that makes me feel suspicious. And it is because I care about Charlie that I have critical thinking. And I look at everyone closest to him. Because when someone is murdered, it's the people closest to you that give the person able to murder you the access to your schedule, your whereabouts, where you're going to be at, where you're going to be sitting. Someone close to him betrayed him, and that we do know. But for all of you, it's sad to see how many people are using the phrase at me, how dare I judge her? When you're using it wrong while also saying, oh, you narcissist. Oh, you look like a man. Oh, you this, that, and the other. You have filler. You have Botox. Wow. I didn't make a damn judgment on this woman. What I said is, this is strange. She's behaving strange. It's weird. It's kind of sad how many of you aren't thankful that there are people out there going, I'm not just going to agree with the narrative fed. I'm going to watch with an open mind everything that's going on. It's funny how abused you guys have been by people on the internet, that you think everything you read that makes you feel slightly uncomfortable is the gateway to war. I mean, you guys must have been battered so badly that you can't even distinguish literal words from figurative words because you're changing my sentences. Me saying this is strange, she's acting strange, is not a judgment, and a lot of you need to learn what judgment actually is. That it has to do with determining your worth, whether you deserve punishment or something bad happening to you. So, there's my rant. Just want to defend that. I'm being offered my cannabis. All you uber Christians using the Bible against me to say that Erica is behaving strangely. Cheers. Here's my cannabis. You need some peace pipe. All right. So, to throw more shade and judge more bitches on TV, let's live react to Kamala Harris on her MSNBC exclusive, where she joins the gay guy with the fake looking hair. And she's just gonna continue being a stupid bitch. Let's watch this.
The past couple of weeks, we have seen the indictments of former FBI Director James Comey, the indictment just a few days ago of the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James. You called this in your book Trump's vengeance agenda.
Before it even happened.
Before it happened.
Yes.
You've predicted this. You seem to like saying I told you so, but
I don't think it would be very hard for a DA to figure out that someone who was wrongly accused of things is going to prosecute or sue back at the very least.
this is one of those things that you predicted. Yeah. You were an attorney general of the second largest DOJ in the country, second only to the United States DOJ. What does what we're seeing mean for the rule of law in this country?
This is a full-on frontal attack on the rule of law in our country.
But it wasn't when they did it to Trump somehow.
You know, one of the things that we talked about during those 107 days and even before was that the Supreme Court, during the course of the election cycle, made the decision, as you'll recall, that the president would be immune from any of his conduct while in office. So we went into the election with this individual, Donald Trump, knowing that he would essentially be immune from any consequence for misbehavior while in office.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking.
So, I love ads. I don't know why I'm getting an ad. I pay for a service. I don't know. You go back to this video. I keep trying to have this scaled to my
screen. In the past couple of weeks, we have seen really the indictments of former FBI Director James Comey. What does what we're seeing mean for the rule of law?
Was that the Supreme Court, during the course of the election cycle, made the decision, as you'll recall, that the president would be immune from any of his conduct while in office. So we went into the election with this individual, Donald.
It's not like what the law says. They're not immune. It's just that obviously the executive of the country needs to be able to do probably some shady things to keep, foreign adversaries at bay. I don't know. There's some fucking gray area. I've read it. I can't freaking quote it, but there's like this gray area that allows the president of the United States to, act a little dirtier if he needs to, but it doesn't make him immune. Okay?
Donald Trump, knowing that he would essentially be immune from any consequence from
what they said was he didn't do anything wrong outside of his presidential powers and authorities. That's what they said.
misbehavior while in office. So the Supreme Court basically gave him that. You look at what's happening in terms of the militarization of the streets of America, deploying people, men and women who have been trained to fight our adversaries or to do other important work that is about uplifting the well-being of the American people, being sent to the streets of America like here in Chicago. You look at what's happening in terms of the weaponization of the Department of Justice, to your point, going after Comey, going after the Attorney General.
It has been proven that Comey lied through his teeth, that the Russian dossier was a hoax. I want to know what their numbers are, their viewer numbers. My God, like, are there that many people still living under a rock? I would hope that even if something were to happen with this DOJ, that they would be prosecuted. Like the fact that they're lying to us about Charlie Kirk's death.
Of the state of New York, who a previous prosecutor, who I'm told was a conservative Republican, reviewed the evidence and decided that there was not enough facts to charge her with a crime, and she has been indicted. And what we see is that the rule of law is very much under attack by this president, who thinks that the Department of Justice is his personal lawyer and is basically subverting the will of the people around constitutional safeguards. I think that we also have to recognize that the district court judges, some of whom were even appointed by Trump, and Democrats, but Republicans and democratically appointed judges in the district courts, are standing up. And I think that is something that we should recognize and praise, that they are saying that where there's an abuse of power, they're going to stand firm. But we also see everyday people.
She just contradicted herself because they stood firm over the fact that Trump didn't do anything wrong when he was president the first time.
And their constitutional rights being trampled, whether it be Fourth, Fifth, or Sixth Amendment rights. So this is a real issue.
Oh, like how it was proven that Donald Trump's Fourth Amendment right was violated when they raided Mar-a-Lago? Went all through Melania's panty drawer?
And a serious issue. And the people, I think, are speaking through their vote and their voice to say they're not going to stand for it.
You mentioned the Attorney General, and Trump messaged her. He thought he messaged her, but he sent it out to everyone. I'm assuming you saw that, calling for...
Yeah, I hear that he must have DM'd her and didn't realize everybody would see it.
Yeah, everyone was a little surprised by it, including himself, apparently.
What?
But he called for the Comey and the James indictments. Your fellow Californian, Adam Schiff, is on that list. So right now he's of 2 of 3. Do you believe that these are about getting convictions, or is it actually about sending a message to anyone who might speak out against him to make clear to folks that they shouldn't do it because
That's called leading the witness.
I think he has a vengeance campaign, which...
You best believe if an entire scheme was made to keep me out of office, arrest me, and accuse me of crimes I didn't commit, best believe I'd have a vengeance streak.
is I think really exposing the petty nature of who he is and his deep level of insecurity, that he feels that he has to use the power of the federal government and the United States Department of Justice to go after people who have disagreed with him, or as prosecutors who have used a combination of the facts and law to prosecute him. From everything I know, Attorney General James based a conviction, or she didn't convict them, but based her charges, which was then resulted in a conviction, based on facts and the law. But he can't take that. He can't take the fact that he's been held accountable, and so he is on a vengeance campaign.
What the DOJ does, and you know this better than I do, is so fundamental to the backbone of the country, right?
Yeah.
The rule of law versus the rule of men. Can Americans trust the criminal justice system right now and what's coming out of the DOJ?
I don't know if we can trust what's coming out of the Department of Justice right now.
Some
And that
things I
pains me
trust,
to say that, as
other
someone
things
who
I
spent
don't.
The majority of my career as a prosecutor, where the work of a prosecutor should be to do justice. Many who have worked as U.S. attorneys, worked for the U.S. Department of Justice, talk openly and rightly about the fact that they should do their work without any fear and not in the interest of favor. And that so clearly is not what it
This is looking even worse. And you should probably just put it back to its original settings. Yeah, it's different. You did. I watched you change a lot of it. And the logo banner's gone. And the whole thing is different.
That was a crazy.
It is. It's different. I'm like, I watched you.
This lets you change before you make anything official. It just didn't do anything because it wasn't working.
This looks like garbage, but
is ruling the day there. And when you have an administration and individuals who are manipulating the justice system of America in that way, they best understand that this is not only about something that affects the individuals that they're targeting. This affects all of us who believe that, flawed though it may be, that a justice system is actually supposed to be blind in the way that it does its work, not targeting people because of who they are, or for that matter, what they look like.
During your DC events this week, you said that you encourage civil service folks to stay in their jobs.
Yes.
To help, as I think, as you put it, to kind of clean up after Trump, whatever that is, and whenever that means.
clean up after Trump. So this is why she's having this book tour. She's trying to drum up support to undo everything Trump is doing. This looks so bad. This is not the same. It's grainy, and this is not how it started, and that is in the wrong position. That's why this is like this. So.
But for the folks in the DOJ, where this vengeance campaign is happening, you see Eric Siebert, who was in Virginia, leaving because of other pressure, lots of other folks, because they can't take it. How can they possibly stick it out? How do they actually do that? What's your advice to them?
Well, like I said that day, I can't pretend to tell them what to do based on what is important to them. But I will speak on behalf of what I believe is important to the country. And if they can stay and stick with it, I would
Stick with what? What's important for the country? All the thing they've said is clean up after Trump. They're going to try and undo everything.
implore them to do it for the sake of the country. It is important that we have people in these powerful positions who understand rules of ethic, the rule of law, the fact that they should be there working on behalf of the people, not some personal political goal. So I do encourage, and it's not only people in the Department of Justice.
But this is what the people want. Trump said it the whole time he was campaigning, that he was going to make these people pay for all these wrongful convictions, wrongful charges, I seen somebody on the internet saying he had 30-something felonies. You did not count correctly how many were thrown out.
People at the FDA, people in the Department of Health and Human Services. People are being pushed out or made to feel as though they can't actually do the job that they ethically know that they should do, and are being pressured in that way to the point that if they can't do the job that they care about, they're thinking about leaving. But then who does that leave? Who's left?
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet.
So there you have it, folks. She is drumming up support to get rid of everything Trump is trying to have done. So just keep an eye out for who stays with her.
You also said in your book tour over and over that Democrats need to fight fire with fire.
Yes.
Should the next Democratic president change the way they deal with the DOJ? Should they be a little bit more involved than Democrats have been in the past? Does that include?
No president should think of the Department of Justice as being their personal attorney. No president should try to influence prosecutorial decisions based on a political agenda. Period.
You also write in the book about that warning in that last speech.
This is
on
the
the
softest
left. I was
interview
there,
ever.
where you said he would use the military to go after American citizens.
Oh, here we go.
You're
It's
here
gonna get good
in
here.
Chicago. One of the cities he's trying to, the courts have stopped him to send the National Guard in. Just today, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson said Trump has declared war on Chicago and other cities. Do you agree? Has the President of the United States declared war on cities run by Democrats in this country?
Well, let's just look at the facts and then draw your
He declared war. Yeah, we have a corrupt DOJ, corrupt CIA, corrupt every three-letter agency. When I was running for Congress, I was campaigning to defund these three-letter organizations, delegislate and deregulate. We need real freedom in this country.
conclusion. He is
And thank you, Trump, for sending troops to save cities like Chicago. Obviously, it's a war zone if you have that many deaths. I heard like 500 or something for the year. Something crazy like that. Yeah, that's a war zone.
deploying U.S. military to the streets of America. A military that has been set up, stood up, and trained for the most part to do the work of fighting against adversaries, fighting against enemies, and deploying them on the streets of America as though, and he said it, to attack the enemy within. Here
The enemy from within, like the hordes that came through the borders. Like, I wonder how many sleeper cells came through that. Hello, the enemy from within. He's not talking about legal Americans. However, if you're like freaking serial killer, guess what? You're a freaking enemy of the state.
in Chicago, I'm told that the helicopters that were descending on an American city were Blackhawks.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what Blackhawks were designed to do?
She's like, come on, react. Do you know what Blackhawks are? You ding dong. He doesn't look alarmed because he knows they're not freaking scattering bullets from Blackhawks, 50 cal rounds from Blackhawk machine guns down onto American people. They're deterrents to stop the crime.
War, yeah.
War. So I think everyone can draw their conclusions just based on the facts and see that he has definitely decided he's going to use the power of the federal government to attack American cities and the people who live there.
I'm telling you, a civil war is going to erupt in our lifetime.
What did you make of him saying and telling these generals and admirals, military leaders, a couple of weeks ago to use the cities as training grounds?
I think it's outrageous.
Urban warfare. What would happen if America were to be invaded with tanks and troops, like on the shores of Normandy? Like, all these cities would be under attack, which, if he's telling them to train in the city, that tells you what exactly is coming. And enemy from within, hello, they're going, I'm pretty sure they're going to try to start a civil war.
I think it's outrageous, and any military leader that you speak with who has been there and taken an oath and served in combat will tell you that the idea that these men and women who sacrifice so much to enlist and to serve in our military forces would turn on American citizens for sport or training is completely...
Her words are outrageous. For sport. How dare she even say that and not be held accountable? Talking about accountability for sport. They're not going to be gunning down Americans for sport.
Against every reason that they signed up to serve our nation and to protect our nation.
When this airs, President Trump will be on his way to the Middle East. They have this deal between Israel and Palestine. Both former Secretaries of State Hillary Clinton and Antony Blinken have commended President Trump for the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Do you agree with them? Should he be commended?
Look, I don't think that we should hold and credit where it's due. I mean, first of all, let me say about that deal, I really do hope it becomes real and that the hostages are out, that Gaza is no longer being treated with such brutality of force, that aid goes in. And I commend the people who have been a part of this process. I'd commend the Qataris, the Egyptians, and the president.
A lot of folks in your party have called what's happening in Gaza a genocide. Do you agree with that?
I think that, listen, it is a term of law that a court will decide, but I will tell you that when you look at the number...
She can't do it. She says she doesn't trust our FBI, but then also won't call Gaza a genocide.
...of children that have been killed, the number of innocent civilians that have been killed, the refusal to give aid and support, we should all step back and ask this question and be honest about it. Yeah.
In the afterword of
But she didn't say any word on what she thinks about it, if it's a genocide or not. You just let it slide.
your book, you say, I'm gonna get this right, in this critical moment, working within the system by itself is not proving to be enough. I will be with the people in towns and communities where I can listen to their ideas on how we rebuild trust, empathy, and a government worthy of the ideals of this country. As someone who's covered you for a long time, your kind of estimation that the system is not working so much so that you're ready and willing to step out of it was kind of surprising to me and a lot of folks who know you. What does that actually look like after the book tour? You're being outside, listening to the ideas of folks. How do you get around and talk to these people?
Well, it's been, actually, I've been doing it along with the book tour and not with the press present, but convening folks to talk with them and mostly, really mostly to listen. I think the American people have a lot to say right now about how they are feeling and what they want from their leadership. And I hope that I can use this time to be able to do that listening and to lift up those voices. You know, one of the issues that I have talked about even on the stage is the level of fear and frustration that the American people are feeling.
But how is she going to lift up voices when she can't articulate anything anyone is saying? What do they want, Kamala?
The level of distrust that is existing. Distrust in the system and their government, but also distrust in each other as fellow Americans. And I think there's some deep work that we have to do that includes lifting up those voices toward a solution. I don't think, as I write in the book, I don't think all the solutions are going to come out of D.C.
So how do you fix that trust, right? Because
where are they going to come from then? Where do they make laws?
You have said that we are working with different sets of facts, right? That there's, in this world that we're living...
No, I would say different information.
Different information.
Fact is fact.
That's true. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'll give her that one.
Information. We're all working with different information in this country. And so how do you get that trust back with MAGA Republicans, for example?
MAGA.
I don't want to put anyone in a general broad group of people, because if you're talking about, for example, people who elected and voted for Donald Trump in the last election, I do believe that there's a fair number of people who did, because they
A fair number. She got like no votes.
trusted and believed that he would, as he said he would, on day one, bring down prices, which he did not. He lied.
He did. But you guys jacked it up so high we don't feel it yet.
The cost of food is higher, unemployment is higher, inflation is higher. And so when I think about a population of people that just believed and wanted that, I think the work to be done is about talking about our plans for addressing that and doing so immediately. Part of what I've talked about is, I think if we had to do it over again, we should have really considered the family care piece of our Build Back Better agenda before we dealt with infrastructure and chips. We could have gotten to that, but dealing with extending the child tax credit, with paid leave, affordable child care would have met the immediate needs of the American people. In fact, that's why during the 107 days, that was my platform, to actually address some of the immediate needs, like, for example, getting Medicare to cover home health care for people who need it, including those in the sandwich generation who are raising young children and taking care of their elderly parents.
I want to get to some news that just came out today with President.
Everyone's in a sandwich generation where they have kids and take care of elderly parents. Like, I know not literally everyone, but I don't even know what that means in the sandwich generation. Most people who have had kids have had to take care of their parents and their kids at the same time at some point.
President Biden, his spokesperson said that he is going to now start doing radiation for his prostate cancer. Have you talked to him about it?
I called him earlier.
How's he doing?
I have not talked to him. I just left him a message after I heard the news.
What? She just said I talked to him earlier. And then said, back up. Hold on.
Going to now start doing radiation for his prostate cancer. Have you talked to him about it?
I called him earlier.
How's he doing?
I have not talked to him. I just left him
Yeah, no, I called him earlier. Actually, I didn't talk to him.
a message after I heard the news. I was otherwise on the event at the event. I think Joe Biden is a fighter, and that is what I told him and left him a message. He's a fighter, and he's going to fight this, and we're going to hold him up and pray for his recovery and for his strength and for his family.
You write about him a lot in the book. Have you talked to him about the book?
Yes.
Yeah. What'd he say?
He don't want to talk to her. He's mad at her.
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, come on. It's just you and I.
Yeah, right.
Madam Vice President, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Whoa, what a weird interview, folks. She's like, I'm not going to tell you. She looked like she wanted to jump down his throat when she said that, too. Well, that was a lot to process. Yeah. All right. Well, let's red pill a gay Spanish dude.
You guys don't have any idea of how much I used to hate Donald J. Trump because of the communist propaganda sponsored directly from the Democratic Party. I used to support them until I saw their real faces. They don't represent Latino community. They don't represent the LGBTQ community. They have done shit for the black community. What you keep perceiving in Donald J. Trump is just a reflection of what you really are. I came into this country running away from a cruel and abusive.
All right, I'm gonna probably just wrap this show up. I'm getting really heavily distracted by all the bugs and kinks, and I really We'll convene later. Hope you guys have a good one.